Good evening, friends. This is Santhosh Radhakrishnan. For all those who doesn't know me, I'm a film editor. I'm a visual effects professional. I'm a logo and a publicity designer. And I'm a theatrical promo editor and also a cinematographer. This is a continuation of the previous episode on mastering the mind and applying the mind. What I'm going to speak is my experiences, and experiences happen so that we can share. And if those experiences are useful to others, then it has to be shared. Mastering the mind. If you don't master a tool, then it's risky to apply it, isn't it? Like anything, for example, when you are learning a new software, until and unless you don't learn it properly, until and unless you don't give yourself time to learn, there's no use applying it. Because if you go to apply it, you might miss on a lot of finer points, isn't it? For example, say if you're using Photoshop and you might be working on a particular image. So in case you are not aware that Photoshop has layers, okay, where you can create imagery on these layers and move the layers however you want to make the layout proper. But if you are not aware of the layers, then what will you end up doing? You will end up doing the whole design in one layer, putting all your hard work. For example, you are creating a mountain and a sun behind it with some river, some scenery you might be creating. So you create the mountain, the sun, the river, everything in the same layer. And if there is an issue, then you won't be able to move it here and there, isn't it? But if you learn Photoshop properly, that is in the course of learning, when you come to know that there is something called as layers, there is something called as transform, there is something called as effects, which can better your imagery. Once you know them, then to apply it on a particular project, to apply it on a particular image, it is logical. It will be fruitful. Likewise, if you don't master the mind, if you don't understand the nuances, the layering of the mind, then you are going through a very rough phase in life. Once you don't master your mind, it's highly risky to apply it. It's always better you master it. So for this mastering of the mind, just like as I gave the example of the software, for this mastering of the mind, you need to give yourself time. How do you give yourself the time? The most important ingredient to master the mind is silence. Silence. Silence, both bodily silence, also your mental silence. This is very important. What I mean to say is not being silent, not speaking to anybody, not like that. For some time, give yourself some time. Imagine that you give yourself 1 week, 2 weeks time, initially, and tell yourself that, okay, I'm not going to speak too much. Okay, I'm not going to judge too much. I'm not going to judge anything too much. Or I will speak only what is needful for 1 week. I'll speak only what is needful. And I will not think unnecessarily, which is not good. As much as possible, I will not have any thinking. I will try to remain silent and observant. If you tell yourself this, and if you start the course, then I can say that you are in the steps of mastering the mind. Because for mastering the mind, silence is very, very important. As they say, silence is golden. It's very true in this case. It is something like the metamorphosis of a butterfly. Imagine you being the larva, okay, an untrained mind. The untrained mind is like a larva, ugly, very slow, and unnoticeable. People don't appreciate it, isn't it? And also vulnerable to predators. Anytime any bird can come and eat it. So a larva, it is ugly, it is unnoticeable, at the same time vulnerable and slow, isn't it? Same way an untrained mind is also like this. Because an untrained mind doesn't know what it is speaking, what it is prompting, what it is telling, what it is thinking, isn't it? It will look ugly end of the day. You might have seen people who speak a lot and expose themselves a lot, and finally they end up in bad books. People will not have a very good opinion on such people. You might have experienced it yourself too. I have experienced it. I have experienced this a lot. I used to be that ugly mind where I didn't have control over my mouth, my tongue. I used to speak all kind of things in front of people. But in front of me, they used to act as though they were listening. But back of me, they were all laughing. They were all seeing me as a joker, which I didn't know because I was not an observant kind of person before. So I used to get a lot of humiliation. I used to get into humiliating situations. Just like a larva, coming back to the example. So now that larva, what did it do? It ate well, isn't it? It started eating well, and it went into a particular corner and wound itself a cocoon. Have you ever imagined, or have you ever thought? I used to think, how did this ugly looking larva, the initial larva, I'm telling, the first, when it comes out of the egg, it looks ugly. That ugly looking larva, how did it turn into a beautiful butterfly? Isn't it? This metamorphosis is a stunning metamorphosis, isn't it? Looking at the larva, you can't imagine that this can become a butterfly, because the butterfly looks totally different, very colorful, nice patterns, nice soothing colors, color combinations, and it can fly. It can fly to heights, isn't it? And it cannot be easily caught. Correct? But if you looking at the larva, you can't imagine a butterfly. But nature does that. Larva can become a butterfly. In the same way, like for example, the larva cocoons itself, isn't it? It gets into a particular gestation time. There's something called as a gestation time. It gives itself a complete silence. Before that, it eats a lot and conserves, then it creates a cocoon. And in that silence, it could be for a few days. I've seen how the butterfly comes out of a cocoon. There was one time when a lot of cocoons were found in our house wall, outside the compound wall. And me and my sister used to observe. And the beauty is the cocoon used to be beautiful. There used to be a nice dome, and there is some golden kind of embroidery work types, some design. I don't know. This is the beauty of the nature. Who does it actually? It looks like man-made, how we do. After some time, after this gestation period, what comes out is not a larva, but a beautiful, large butterfly. It just comes out, flaps its wings, and goes. Isn't it? In the same way, we need that cocooning time, that gestation time. But the problem here is, we are so used to this fast food life, unfortunately, we are so used to this fast food. We eat a lot of fast food, junk food, which is instant food. We want everything instantly, instant. Nobody has the patience to, wait and, culture themselves properly. Because of this fast moving lifestyle, people do not venture into mastering the mind. They just play around things without knowing anything properly. I see a lot of people who comment on spirituality just without knowing anything, because spirituality needs that silence. They just want immediate proofs. I have come across people who ask immediate proofs, instant, as though it is like a dosa, I have to do this and give it. Then they will accept. I always laugh at such people, because they don't give themselves the time to understand these aspects. Only when the mind is silent, when the mind is observant, and the mind is alert, can they understand finer details of anything. So to master the mind, this silence is very important. In silence, what are you doing? In silence, you are observing. You are a witness. We should learn to be a witness. Not an active participant always. Yes, participation should be there. But at the same time, there also need to be a witness state. Once we become a witness, my dear friends, you will have a better opinion about your own action. Something like, if there is a drama, if there's a theatre play going on a stage, and you are an audience, the actor on the stage may not know his mistakes while acting on the stage. But an audience can find out, isn't it? An audience becomes a better judge for the actor than the actor himself who is on the stage. So we, other than acting on the stage, at the same time, we should keep ourselves in the audience seat too. We should see ourselves. We should be a witness to our own drama, our own actions. Then you will come to know the issues and problems we have. And before anybody points it out that, you're doing a mistake, you correct yourself. Because if somebody finds your mistake, it becomes ugly. You get into issues, you get into problems, isn't it? Why give that kind of a hand to others? You correct yourself before itself. So a person who has mastered the mind, he does very less mistakes. That's the beauty. Okay? Because even before committing a mistake, he is an audience, he is a witness. So he can find out even before the mistake forms, even before the wrong action forms in the mind. At that stage, at the grassroots level, he can find out something wrong is going to happen from me. This is my experience. This is very much my experience, let me tell you. And all that I'm speaking is simply out of experience. I know how big of a monkey I have been, and right now, how I am. Even today, I'm a monkey, but a trained monkey. I'm a tamed monkey. I'm not that wild monkey. No. I used to be a wild monkey before. A trouble-causing monkey, a mischievous monkey. But now, I'm at least a tamed monkey. But I don't desire to be only a monkey. I want to proceed to be a human, from human to divine. That is the journey I'm going to take. My end point is to become divine. So I act divine. Just like, these wannabe actors, they act like Amitabh Bachchan, they'll act like Dharmendra, those days, so that they can get that acting skills. They impersonate, so that they know, they can feel that they are the actor. In the same way, I act divine, so that I'll become divine one day. The more I think, the more I contemplate that I am divine, I am divine, I am divine, I know one day I become that. So, by mastering the mind, you start the journey to the steps of being divine. Because you become all-encompassing. Once you master the mind, then this whole world looks like a stage right in your hands. Let me guarantee you, my dear friends, once you start mastering your mind, once you feel things are under your control, then what you do will have a better quality. It will have a better perception. It will have a better depth, which people will enjoy. You will be seen and perceived as a better person. You will be seen and perceived as a Medhavi. a realized soul or a man of scholastics. Even without reading any books, I'm telling, without reading, you don't need to read high funda philosophy, you don't need to read high funda spiritual books or any personality development books. You don't need to read too much to master the mind. All that you need is observation. You need to observe. Be a self-critic. Be self-evaluate yourself. Always put yourself first. When you want to judge, when you start judging, put yourself first, then others. Once you put yourself first, my dear friends, then you won't like judging others. You won't have time to judge others. Yes, once you put yourself in front of you, then you will find so many mistakes. You will think, okay, let me not waste time in judging others. My own backyard is not right. Let me make it proper. That will be the thought that will come. And that is a sign of improvement. That is a shortcut sign of improvement. And speaking about the effects of this, we are all made up of magnetism. There is a certain aspect of magnetism in each one of us. If we are a distracted being, as I said, the untrained mind, our magnetism is less. But once you start gathering yourself through mastering your mind is nothing but mastering your senses. It is as good as that. Once you start mastering, once you start knowing, you become more magnetic. What is this magnetism? It is not that iron filing type of magnetism. This magnetism is you attract opportunities, you attract people, you attract all that is essential and needy for your life. It will come to you. This is my experience. My studio, okay, for all those who know about me, pretty well know where my studio is. My studio is situated, this editing studio, the visual effects studio, is situated in a total non-commercial place. This is not a business center. I am situated in Hesarghatta Road, which is like 14-15 kilometers from the city center. And most clients, when they come to me, they all ask, how do you do business here? So all that I tell them is, how did you come here? Of course, skill, talent is one thing, but I believe with all that, there is this magnetism. I have heard people, to my surprise, whenever I used to meet people, they used to tell, sir, you are very humble. I have never seen this, and I have never judged myself as being a humble person. I don't know what humility is all about. But I wonder, how did they perceive it? Because they have a larger perception of me, and when I act very humane, they feel that I am humble. How did this larger perception come? I always wonder, how did this larger perception come? Because there is a certain code, there is a certain energy that is getting exuded. There is a certain energy, my dear folks. Please do a research in this. You will come to know this. There is a certain energy that you exude, because this whole world is a matrix. It's a matrix of overlapping energies. We are connected. We are highly connected. And once you feel something, you feel good about yourself, you are already giving a message. You are already giving an energy code which will reverberate from you, and which will affect people. You don't need to tell people that you are this, you are that. Just by walking amidst people, they'll feel your energy. I have literally witnessed this. Not with only myself, I have also witnessed with others. Certain people, when we meet, if we are in a crowd, I may not know that person, but I have certain people I have seen who are very composed. The moment they walk inside, they look like a Medhavi. Medhavitana. They're not telling anything. They're very simple human beings. But the moment they walk inside, we can feel their energy. Something tells us this person is not an ordinary person. You take anybody who is, anybody whom you might have met, be an actor or a literary figure or anybody, when you are coming near them, you will feel that energy, you will feel that seriousness, that coolness, that seriousness. That's because they have controlled their mind in such a way that, it's exuding that magnetism. This is beautiful, my dear friends. You need that gestation time. You need to give yourself time to observe. Otherwise, if you don't give yourself time, there's no way mastering the mind. First, you should understand what your mind is, who you are. Forget the who am I concept. I'm not telling about that. I'm telling, at least try to understand how you speak, how you dress, or how you tell, or how you opinion. Know about yourself properly. Know about your identity. You should know your identity. I used to do that. Even today, I'm not 100% happy. But I'm always alert. I'm always, in a state of knowing that how I am right now. So once you start looking at yourself, take that time. 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, whatever the time it demands, however it be, the time that you spend on yourself, it will be rewarding. For sure, let me tell you, you will see yourself as a better being. You will see yourself as a complete unbiased personality. You will not spare yourself. I am a person like that. I don't spare myself. If I have done a wrong, it is a wrong. I do not tell myself that, okay, it's okay. If somebody doesn't know, it's okay. No. I have blasted myself. I lock the door and I loudly blast myself for the mistakes I have done. Once you are strict with yourself, forget others. Once you are strict with yourself, my dear friends, you will be a better personality. You will have a better system of doing things. You will have a better way of doing things. And this will happen. So mastering the mind, once you master, then you apply. Then your application will have value. Like driving a car again. Driving a car might be a concept. But actually when you start learning it, you will come to know its nuances, its seriousness, isn't it? For me, before I learned the car, for me it was a concept. Concept in the sense, I know how the gears work and all. I know how to put that whole scenario, I know because I've seen. But initially I thought it is easy. But then when I started learning, that few days I gave myself, it could be 1 week. Within 1 week, I'm telling you, 4 to 5 days, I started getting the control of the vehicle. But that time that I give rewarded me. Today I can drive the car very beautifully. For me, driving a car is like writing a poem. I don't misuse the engine. I don't misuse the faculties of the car. I don't unnecessarily speed, or I don't put it in a gear which is uncomfortable for the vehicle. I always drive it gracefully. Ask my friends, you'll come to know. People will feel safe when they are with me. That doesn't mean I go slow. No. I go apt. I drive it aptly. Where it is needed, where speed is needed, yes. Where speed is not needed, no. I do not fancy a thrilling experience inside the car. I rather fancy a beautiful, breezy, and a nice experience in the car. The same way of life. We should not put ourselves, or rather I tell myself, I should not be putting myself into adventures. Risk-taking adventures. Yes, we have to take risk, but it has to be calculated risk. So my dear friends, mastering the mind is mastering yourself, knowing yourself. Because once you start mastering the mind, you'll come to know mind is a tool. If you don't master it, then you will be ruled by the mind. You will not even know mind is a tool. The mind will be ruling you. The mind will give all kind of identities to you and you will start believing it. The mind will tell you, you are a left winger, you are a right winger, or you are a center winger, whatever. It is the mind that is telling, it is not you. It is the mind which says, you support certain party, in political party. You support certain this thing. And whatever this person says, this person dislikes. And whatever this person says, whether it is good or bad, this person dislikes. This is all that monkey mind. If you are a truly controlled personality, if you are truly a man of master, the master who has controlled the mind, then you will not be a part of any party. You will not be a party for any party. You will be a citizen of India. A person who is balanced will be a citizen of India. He will not speak for others. He will always pat if it is good. But if things are confusing, he will catch the collar and ask why it is like this. Irrespective of any party. Irrespective of any party. That is what mastering the mind has taught me. That is what has happened when I have started mastering. I have not mastered it 100%. But please don't take my example. You might be a better candidate, I'm sure, who can master the mind much faster and much better than me. But with my limited experience, I can share these things. Okay, my dear folks, I think we can close it down here. If you have any questions or any clarifications, you may please put it in the comments. I'll surely try to answer it, probably in the next video, or I might even answer in the comments itself, as it gets intuited into me. Because it's all about intuition. I don't even know if I make another episode tomorrow. If another episode comes out of me, I don't know. Or I don't even know whether many episodes will come out of me. I'm not sure. I'm not judging it. I'm just living by the day. I'm living by the minute. I'm living by the second. So as it comes into my mind, as I feel intuited the higher self, I allow the higher self, the higher intelligence to flow. And that is what is speaking to you now. That is what is making me speak. Thank you. God bless.